Hey there, you amazing patrons. It's X, and I'm here with Kyle and Felicia, and this is the Utah Outcasts Secret Patron Show. This is the special content we provide to folks who are generous enough to share at least $1 a month with us. And what we're going to be doing tonight is a channel that I happened to find on the Reddits. I was looking on Reddit, and this one person that goes by the name of Pikachu Atheist, which just what,
Wait,
dude?
so do you not believe that Pikachu exists? Do you think Pikachu is a god?
No, okay. So it was him. It was him essentially going to be doing the same thing we're going to be doing, except you know, if you're on YouTube and you don't have the balls to put your face to it, you know.
Oh, you mean just maybe just like a strange thing wearing a suit?
Yeah, it's a cartoon Pikachu, and it had like sunglasses and it had a spliff in its mouth. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here, edgy McAtheist.
Yeah, super edgy.
And if you happen to come and find us, Pikachu Atheist, I'm sure you're a nice person. But
I'm sure
the cartoon character avatar is dumb.
It's that's done. Well, one, it's done to death. It's super dated.
At least come up with your own cartoon.
Oh sure, yeah.
Like that one is at least interesting.
That would be a little bit better. But that kind of thing was the 90s. That's when you would see that kind of thing.
So there's this Kaiser guy. Can't remember his no.
Yeah. Kaiser Soze?
He did a really good breakdown of how Nazis were not leftists.
Oh yeah.
Like it was really
easiest fucking answer in the book, you mean?
Yeah, really easy. But he's like, it's a really dumb question, but let's break it down. I'm sorry I'm forgetting your name right now if you're watching, which I doubt you are. But he does a cartoon avatar of himself, but it's really cute because he's kind of got like this whole like it looks like a historian's office, and he's just like lounging back in a chair, and he kind of animates and like gives pointed stuff. It's cute. It's cute.
I mean,
it's actually like a little animated.
Paulogia does a good one. I mean, it's a cartoon character where the mouth just kind of flaps, but it's at least good, you know. And who's another one that does that? I'm sure we're going to be screamed at by tons of people. Oh, this one!
I'm sure.
Well, you're forgetting this one. It's like anyway, the person that we got, who happens to have more subscribers than us currently, not forever. His name is Pastor Wagner, and I'm going to go with Wagner because he can't be cool enough to say Wagner.
Oh, no. We're not calling him Wagner.
No, and he is.
The Nazis love Wagner, by the way. That's not a statement. That's not a statement on Wagner. What is it? Rise of the Valkyries? Bride of the Valkyries. Oh,
Bride of the Valkyries.
It's so good. It is.
I just watched I watched a anime called Black Lagoon recently. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that one, but there's an episode where it's a story of essentially a pirate crew that's working in like Indonesia, South China Sea kind of stuff. And they find this Nazi sub that got sunk. And the person that hired them to go out there was trying to recover a painting. And as they go to recover this painting, and it was like the Valkyrie with all the other knights of like the Nazi order or whatever the fuck it was. They go to get this painting. And at the same time, these current day neo-Nazis are going for it at the same time.
Oh,
so it was really cathartic to watch like a whole shipload of Nazis get the fucking asses handed to them and just blasted all over the place. And I'm like, yeah, try Seagulling that, you fucker. And the main Nazi that the one that actually hired both crews for the job, not him, but the one that was leading the ones on the other ship, he was like super goddamn mad because one of the guys that ended up killing the group of guys was a black guy. So like black guy and an Asian girl just wasted a whole bunch of Nazis. It was hilarious.
I'm into it.
Anyway, so not Wagner. So Pastor Wagner wants to tell everybody why Christians should not celebrate Halloween. Now, I grew up super Christy.
Yeah.
But I was still allowed to do Halloween because, I mean, we did Easter, which was a pagan holiday. We did Christmas, another pagan holiday. We sure as fuck did Halloween because guess what? It got us out of the house for a night for my mom and dad to do whatever the fuck they wanted to do while we went around the neighborhood.
Yeah. Free candy. Yeah.
We're changing in here. Don't come in.
Yep.
They're divorcing now. Anyway, this guy.
Hello everyone, Pastor Wagner again. Welcome to my weekly video blog. This week I'd like to talk to you about why Christians should not celebrate Halloween. I want to start by reading from the Encyclopedia Britannica.
That's a good
source.
Yeah. Well, not only good source, but that's a good start to anything.
So normally I like to come into these things cold because I like to have my fresh reaction. But when you sent this to us, X, I was like, no, he's going Samhain on us. Oh, and we'll get to Samhain. He's going Samhain on us. I'm coming with some facts. And boy, is Encyclopedia Britannica bad. I mean, he's using an outdated version, but the updated one is still really bad.
And on top of it, the guy's delivery is just garbage. It's like, hi, I'm going to talk about something that I want to talk to you about. Okay, here I go. I'm going to read. And he starts looking down, and it's
until he gets to the things that he fucking hates, and then you just hear
I skimmed over it, so I didn't get to the whole thing. So you probably know more about this one than I do.
Oh, I've watched the first half probably 5 times now. So.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Well, I had to go back
and
commitment. And I'm not going to comment on looks. However, this guy, he is the definition of a slaphead if I've ever seen one. He's just want to walk up, or a chin head. You just want to walk up to him and just like smack the bald head that he's got. It's just like,
comes off super creepy to me. He's giving me real bad creep vibe. Like not necessarily because of any one of his features. It's more his affect.
his puby chin kind of gets me too. It's.
I
what is that? That's not a man's beard.
I just get the impression that he would be terrible. He would be awful to hold a conversation with.
Well, especially since we know he's going first year freshman college paper here, where he's talking about Webster's dictionary defines blah 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 as blah.
He totally does too. He not only gets one definition, but he goes for like another like book definition. Like,
so let's actually let him talk since we're 7 minutes deep. Here we go.
Sorry.
I'll just tell you what Halloween is, in case you didn't know, or more importantly, what the history of it is and where it came from, because a lot of people probably don't know that part of it.
Or us. we know what's going on. And Halloween? Who hasn't fucking heard of Halloween? Really, dude?
Well, yeah, okay, he's not wrong that a lot of people really have no concept of the history of it.
Like, oh, sure.
That's true. Yeah. That's true, but I'm saying as a general holiday.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone's heard of Halloween. We all know what it is. But, like, yeah, most people don't know the history of most things. That's because there's a lot of history out there, and our education system sucks as is.
People are dumb.
So I'm reading from the Encyclopedia Britannica.
What was that?
I have 350 words of notes. I'm not going to read them all.
Jesus,
okay. It's just like they were just for me, but...
Here's this guy.
14th edition, volume 11. It says Halloween, or All Hallows Eve, the name given to October 31st, as the vigil of Hallow Mass or All Saints' Day, now chiefly known as the eve of the Christian festival. And that would be Catholic festival.
Catholic.
Oh, he needs to make sure he puts that hard distinction in
there.
Of course he does.
Of course he does. Pissed. He's clearly pissed about Catholics. Dude, you wouldn't exist if Catholics didn't exist.
That's what I was going to say. I'm like, if Catholics didn't take over Christianity, your little sect would not fucking exist right now.
No, yeah, it's the mothership.
Yeah. It's almost like that he evolved from them.
Ooh, don't tell him that, because he'll call you a Jezebel. How dare you?
I mean, I am.
It long antedates Christianity. So, meaning it goes way back before Christianity, so it's not a Christian
thank you. We were unaware of what that meant.
Fun fact. Well, okay, the people he's talking to didn't know what that meant, so.
Well, no, but he should have dumbed it down in his reading before, like, yeah, I'm gonna mansplain what antedate means.
Yeah, he really could have summarized it. But fun fact, although the ancient practice of, and we're gonna get there, Samhain, goes back a couple thousand years, there's evidence that it dates all the way back to 5,000 or more years ago in certain practices. But the religions were quite different between those periods, almost like religions change over several thousand years. But the holiday itself is very likely at least 5,000 or more years old. So that's really cool.
Yeah, because people like to celebrate stuff.
Yeah, it was a good one to celebrate if you're in Northern Europe.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to let him talk because this is an almost 10-minute video and we're not going to watch the whole thing.
Sorry.
Okay, by any stretch. The two chief characteristics of ancient Halloween were the lighting of bonfires and the belief that this is the one night in the year during which ghosts and witches are most likely to wander abroad.
No.
History.
No. No. Okay, so the ghosts, sure, the spirits of loved ones past would come back. But it's actually one of two nights when the other world was the boundary between the other world and our world was obliterated. So there were ways through, according to the mythology, throughout the year, but the boundary was completely obliterated and everyone can come and go. The other world is the realm of the dead and the deities. There's variations on that throughout the sects.
That's why I think Stranger Thing resonates with a lot of people without really thinking about it. So
well, it's a deep-seated cultural thing. Yeah.
So witches existed all the time. Witches were humans with magic, and they were neither evil nor good. They just kind of, they could be either. It wasn't inherent in being a witch.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
Exactly. and what mostly that it was about was loved ones coming back to visit. Ghosts weren't evil. They were nice. They put out food for their family to come eat with them. It's a sweet thing, actually. And then fairies and deities and all sorts of creatures. There's cool stories about werewolves and stuff. Like So that's what it was a happy little fun time. Yeah. It was a chaotic time that they
yeah.
Because it was about to be scary.
They made it good.
Yeah.
History shows that the main celebrations of Halloween were purely druidical, and this is further proved by the fact that in parts of Ireland, October 31st is still known as Oidke Samna.
Do your fucking research. It's Samhain. It's spelled, and you're gonna get there, Samhain in modern parlance, but it's pronounced Samhain.
I wish I had godlike power so I could go in there. He's like, it's called I am Sofa King.
It's a point. Reach up to your little camera and push pause and read it, and then go look it up.
Look up the pronunciation.
Get the pronunciation. Read it out loud. Okay, am I getting the pronunciation right?
You've got these magic things like right here where you can easily just look up the word, and there's most sites that if you look up words that have pronouncers, that'll say it for you.
This one's easy to find too because
it's very easy. It's killing me. His cold reading is can you like put it on like 2 times speed?
Well, I'm gonna unless Felicia had anything like from the early on part of this, I'm gonna jump till he's done with the definition because we kind of that
we
kind of know this stuff already. So
say that it was to worship the god Samhain, or he calls it Samhain. There's no such figure. There's no such figure. And then he's going to reference that the Romans started they combined it with the celebration of Pomona, which was the goddess of bountiful fruit trees. Not their harvest, though, just being bountiful.
Just the trees,
but being neat.
Yeah.
And
a Jewish princess. That's just what I needed.
And she was celebrated on August 13th, and I cannot find a single reference to her being combined with the pagan holiday of Samhain.
No, she wasn't. I don't know where he was getting that. He's clearly confused about something.
Encyclopedia Britannica, Volume 14, or like, shouldn't it be like on much higher numbers by now than 14?
It's so bad. It's so bad. They are still okay. And then he at one point
it's like he grabbed a World Book Encyclopedia from like the dollar store or from like the thrift shop. He found a whole set of encyclopedias because God forbid you use the internet to look things up.
Oh, he's definitely reading from a book, and it's definitely an old encyclopedia because they said like and wicked things. That's not how they saw it. There wasn't a hard delineation between good and bad. I've been over this. Ancient peoples didn't see it that way. That's a totally Christian thing. Anywho, one last thing. He says at one point that it would celebrate all through Gaul and the Celtic regions. And he says that the Druid was the religion it was, yeah, I guess if we're simplifying it, between Gaul and British, and the Celts, and then he goes, so it was a holiday of the British Isles. No, motherfucker,
No.
I looked this up. Gaul was everywhere that wasn't ancient Scandinavia and in the Western
and also
Europe,
not Rome.
and not Rome.
Yeah.
It was Transylvania.
They were everywhere.
Italy,
Yeah.
Southern Germany, France, Portugal. It was huge, and it wasn't a single nation. It was tribes that had really cool interconnected interaction.
Yeah.
So he says Gaul, and then he literally follows it up with British Isles. No, motherfucker. Like, just Google a thing. Like,
Right.
Google
Yeah. The Gauls never made it
Gaul.
to the British Isles.
No, they did.
just didn't.
Yes, they did.
They did. I did.
Yeah,
I could
the
have sworn they did.
The Gauls are the Celts. They're the same thing.
What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of. Never mind. I'm thinking of something else. I'm confused. I'm confused.
Yeah, the
Anyway,
Gauls are the Celts.
We're jumping ahead to being done with his definition.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Those are just a couple of questions or of quotes for you to show you the origin of Halloween and also how the Catholic Church is known. And they
7,000 subscribers, people. This guy, 7,000 subscribers.
They admit in their own writings that they take pagan holiday. They have taken pagan holidays, Christmas and Easter, to
keep saying pagan holidays.
Pagan.
Pagan.
I'm okay. I'm okay with this.
They probably did that too. Like, dildos were one of the first things that were ever invented, so
I mean,
they probably did that too.
It's not hard to find objects to shove up your ass.
Yay!
Always have a beveled end.
Yeah, exactly.
Happy International Day.
Examples of that. I'll do a video blog on that when the time of year gets closer to that. But they take these pagan holidays and they bring them into Christianity in order to convert the pagans. So the pagans aren't going to give up all their fun. They want to.
Hell no!
The pagans aren't giving up their fun at all. Nobody's doing that, dude.
God damn it! Lord, the pagans. Honey, we're gonna go visit the pagans tonight. Okay, I'll bring the lube.
Yep.
I'm gonna need a few minutes first.
I gotta.
Should probably stretch before we go.
Get nice and warm.
Get limber. Get both hands in there. You know,
doing all their pagan revelry. So they bring it into the Catholic Church, change the name of it to All Saints Day or Christ's Mass or Easter or whatever, and do it unto the Lord, quote unquote. But the problem is with that the Bible tells us that we are not supposed to be equally yoked up with unbelievers and with wickedness such as this. If you look in 2 Corinthians,
oh my God, nobody cares. I'm skipping past his preaching part.
Yeah.
Like I was about I don't care.
It says the works of the flesh are
okay. More preaching. I've skipped ahead.
Which you suffer not to live.
The point.
Oh wait, he's just threatening to kill somebody.
Hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. Would you want your kid to be a murderer or a drunk? No.
Yeah,
those are very different things.
I'd be I'm expecting at least one of my kids to be as much of a drunky McDrunkerton as I am. And I'm not, honestly, except when I got shows. You know?
Those are two very different things, though.
Oh, wait, I forgot about the murdering part there. Yeah, okay, sorry.
Yeah. So, like, you said, do you want your kid to be a murderer or a drunk? Well, I'll tell you what, I'll prefer one over the other.
Yeah, if I had to choose.
If I had to choose. Neutral.
One do I get to pick the targets?
Oh, I mean, murder, freedom fighter.
An adulterer,
I'm
of
not
course
advocating
not.
for that.
What about witchcraft? You dress someone up like witches. You know what the Old Testament said? What happened to a witch? You'd suffer them not to live.
Burn them! Burn them!
So now you're advocating for murder.
Burn them!
He's saying to murder children who dress up like witches. And then he's like, do you want your kid to be a murderer? Obviously you fucking do.
So you're saying, if my kid weighs the same as a duck.
Well, if you're not a witch, why are you dressed like one? I didn't dress like this. They dressed me up like this.
Everybody knows the skit. God damn it, I love that movie.
I love that movie so much.
And you dress your little girls, your little boys up like that stuff. What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
If we ever expect to see a revival in this country, if we ever expect to see the word of God prevail again, it's only going to be by renouncing this kind of sinful garbage.
You have 80% of the population in the U.S., dude. 80%.
And declining.
Yeah, and an entire political party that, although is less popular, dominates everything.
Yeah, because they're fucking ruthless.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's almost like morality isn't tied to religion. Religiosity. It's almost like these kinds of conservative Christians don't actually give a fuck about freedom. They care about authoritarian...
And power.
Oh, damn it. Authoritarian conformity. That's it. Yeah. It's all about authoritarian conformity. See, he doesn't want anyone to express how they identify with this time of year, or what their cultural heritage is with this time of year. He wants his specific way of existing. Not
I just realized this guy, he looks like Megamind wearing glasses.
Oh shit, he does! His head's not that big, though.
Yes, be afraid of the spider. Here in Metrocity. Anyway, God, I just noticed it. I'm like, that's a big fucking bald pate that we got going on here. I'm like, holy shit, he's got a goatee. He looks like Megamind. He's just not wearing the leather. He's wearing like this thing.
Do you think that guy would be into leather? Like, he would never let anyone know, but I bet leather.
He doesn't have the fortitude for leather, I don't think.
You don't think?
He'd be a latex person that's put in the vacuum form thing and is only allowed to breathe through the straw.
No, he really seems a little too milquetoast for that. He seems like the kind of guy who's really turned off. He's really turned off by like sweat.
Ugh.
He can't stand it.
He's a hole in a sheet kind of guy.
He makes her dry up before he goes in.
Yeah.
You look in Acts 19 when Paul went into Ephesus and he preached the word there.
In Ephesus was I born and wed unto a goodly mother of 2 sons, which one, like the other, could not be distinguished but by name. Sorry.
Is he going to get to a point?
No, not really.
Is there a point? Is he ever going to even answer the question? Is he ever going to actually tell us what the point is?
We skipped a part where he was like, it's all just vile and wickedness. He gets that hate thing in his voice again, like he did with the Catholics. And that was fun. But he's like, what is Halloween? It's just vile and evil and just wicked. And it's like, okay, now you're talking about the ancient one and like the modern interpretation. Like, they're pretty different things, but
sure.
I mean, traditions have kind of survived, yeah.
A little bit. Dumb. But he couldn't
even bother to Google Samhain.
No, but really, can't it just be about costumes and candy for kids?
Who cares if it originally started as a festival for this, that, and the other thing? It has been co-opted, just like the Christians did to the pagan stuff, and just like the atheists are doing with Halloween. We're turning it into a day of revelry. We're just having fun with it. We're not
just almost like bringing it back to its old way, because
it really is.
Like they just
deleting the spiritual part of it. That's all it is.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
And
hey, let's drink, have fun, dress up in costume.
Fun research into possible human sacrifices, and howdy, just like this is relevant because this guy is really he's using a bad source to really mischaracterize what the holiday was, right? He says ghosts and witches, which we understand as evil in culturally speaking, sort of. Well, the Romans and later monks had some real political motivation to make the Gauls and the Celts seem wildly violent, right?
Oh, sure they did. Of course.
There is evidence that Druids did perform human sacrifice, but the evidence we have was that it was on leaders and prominent people.
And usually people willing. That's
willing.
It was always willing. Yeah.
There was punitive executions that were pretty brutal, but like
that's something that's kind of throughout most cultures and society.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like. I mean, yeah, it's gross, bad, but like everyone did it. So I mean,
yeah,
whatever. History sucks. Everything's terrible. But yeah, it wasn't the upper classes using it as a form of oppression. It really was a spiritual thing for leaders, and they were willing to do it. It's really interesting. But the way the Romans wrote about it, they made up some crazy shit. Like there was one monk who claimed that one particular tribe, every Samhain, would sacrifice 2/3 of their children, which no fucking way that ever happened. Childhood mortality back then was already so bad. There's no fucking way that ever fucking happened. I mean, there was one that said like they would slaughter half of their tribe every year, which again, no, they fucking didn't. It's bonkers. Like some of the ways that they tried to rewrite the history is insane.
I mean, really, how long do you think that would go on before the tribe just kind of gets together and goes, "Hey guys, this is kind of
probably shouldn't be doing this."
Seems bad.
Like really, I remember when there were like 1,000 of us, and now it's like 20. Like guys. Maybe we just don't do that. I mean, how about a goat? A goat's okay. Can we do a goat?
The gods are pissed off at us still. Like we still haven't had like a good season, you know.
2/3 of their children. That has never happened. That has never ever happened.
No,
ever.
I mean, really, is there even any credible historical evidence for actual child sacrifices?
Not that I found for the Druids. There is in other cultures, yeah. There is some foundational bones in some Druid structures, so they put like child bones in the foundations, which is a pretty common magic thing. Right. But it's not clear that those were sacrificed or those were just like children that died, and like that was like a burial.
Hey, you gonna use that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just
except for it was just straight for magic. Like they thought it was magic.
Right. Well, I mean, it just doesn't seem like that's something that would come up. The idea of child sacrifice, especially when so many kids just died naturally.
Yeah, it was not a wise choice.
It was like, well,
so this just
half of our kids have already died. Let's go ahead
even
and
more
just
onto the Abraham and Isaac thing, where that's just crazy shit. That's just fucking crazy.
That's why it was. Well, that's why that was such a big deal in the Bible, because child sacrifice was always kind of a big deal. Like you don't just sacrifice a kid; you need them to reproduce, and they're not going to reproduce as a child.
Imagine the hardships you've gone through as a baby human, where modern science saved your ass so many goddamn times. Where if this was the frontier, if this was the Old West, we'd be dead motherfuckers, you know?
Exactly. So, like, yeah, that's why it was such a big deal in the Bible that God asked him to sacrifice his only son, because, I mean, also, like, inherent misogyny going on in there, but also, like, you didn't just sacrifice kids. You just didn't do it. I'm sure it's existed, and I'm sure there was ritual sacrifice of children in many cultures, but it certainly wasn't, like, a prolific thing that was
it was not like super. Yeah, it's not super common.
No, you sacrifice adults. You sacrifice adults. Everyone knows this.
And that's enough of this guy, because we've tangentialized this guy into the dirt, and he doesn't matter anymore.
But also, dude, don't celebrate. You don't have to celebrate Halloween. Ultimately, get to that point, like, don't. We don't want you at our party.
Yeah, you're the turd in the punch bowl. Nobody wants you around.
Stop telling people what they can and can't do, or should or shouldn't do.